Hello, in today's video I'll be showing you my modeling process in Blender. I will be making some vintage counters slash drawers. This video is sped up because otherwise it's pretty long. So when you open Blender you first start with a square, but I selected everything and deleted it because I wanted a clean slate. Then I added a cube mesh and started working on the shape. Fun fact, I actually have these counters in real life. They are thinner than an actual counter, so that's why I don't know what to call them. I made sure to make them longer but slim. Then I added a countertop by duplicating the original rectangle mesh and scaling it on the y-axis to make it longer. As you can see here, I accidentally grabbed only one edge and extended it. That's why it looked weird, but I fixed that. Then I started working on the drawers. I duplicated the rectangle and made it a shape by looking at the actual drawers. After that, I duplicated that and made it a bit smaller so there's a bit of depth. It's basically a big rectangle on top of another smaller one, and then another even smaller to give it more depth. As you can see, I gave them a bit of a cut edge so they're not so basic looking, I guess. After I was done with the first drawer, I started making the handles for it. I added a UV sphere and from top-down view selected the top faces and deleted them. I also added a solidify modifier so it's not so thin. I shrinked it a bit and made it shorter. Then I also added a cylinder for the back. I scaled that and put it on the bottom. Then I made sure to apply the modifier before joining them together and placing the handle on the drawer. Although at first it looked fine, when I looked back at the drawers, the handles were actually more shallow than this. And now this handle kinda looked like a bowl. That's why I made a new version where I deleted more than half of the faces and also added the modifier. I think this one looked better than the other one, so I deleted it and replaced it with a newer one. Then I selected the first drawer and duplicated it to make 4 drawers. The rectangle shape was too long, so I shortened it a little bit. Then I was just making sure the drawers were all nicely placed. The countertop was looking a bit thin, so I made it more thick because it had curves and interesting details. So I curved the top and the bottom of it and played around with the curve in the bevel settings. And because this top has an interesting indent in the middle, I struggled to make the shape until I thought I could add some loop cuts and push them a little bit inside. And that's how it ended up looking. I did make the whole thing a little bit thinner and placed it down. Then for the second counter, which has just one drawer and a door, I duplicated the whole thing except for the 3 other drawers. Then I duplicated the top drawer twice, made them thinner. They're not drawers, just decorations. Here I started to shape the edges of the counter door, which look like a square or a rectangle shape. You will see a cut in the video here. That's because I had a lot of testing and deleting. I added a plane in the center, in the middle, that is a decoration on the door. I deleted that and started again, but you'll see that later on. So sorry about the confusion. And now it's just a lot of tweaking to make sure it's perfect, because I'm a perfectionist. And for the center of the counter, there's a wooden detail, so I added a plane and also added some thickness. And slanted the top edges. I made sure to duplicate the handle for the door. Now I forgot to record the beginning of this, but after making the models, I went into shading so I can add texture for the counters. Just a reminder that I'm still new at Blender, especially at shading. So right here I'm basically creating a new material, and then in the shading tab I'm adding an image texture and then connecting that to the base color, I think. So basically instead of the color it adds the texture. Of course you can use textures you could find on websites, but I used image textures for everything. I had 4 different textures for the drawers, handles, counters, and countertops. I realized I had to cut a piece at the front of the counter because that part was all brown wood, unlike the rest, which is white. So I added a loop cut and separated that part as its own. Then I also had to do the same thing with the countertop. The front has wood texture and everything else has totally different texture, you'll see later on. So for the countertop I actually had to use the knife tool because I couldn't add a loop cut. It was cutting below the surface and above it, not actually through it, so I had to use the knife tool to cut. I made sure to duplicate the nodes for the other counter. And for the piece in the center, the texture was in the wrong direction, so I had to add a vector node and rotate it 90 degrees. Then again, it was just tweaking the colors because the top of the drawers were a bit lighter. Then I added the image texture for the countertops, which is like pebble laminate or something similar. And here is the finished piece. I loved how it turned out. The wood seems rustic and vintage. I think I nailed everything. I might actually add an image of the counters in real life to see if I did a good job replicating them. How did you think I did? Leave a comment down below. Also make sure to subscribe if you like this type of content. I would really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.